just a little bit on the current team, because it's nice actually doing it during an international break, because things are actually looking up, finally, regarding
Yeah.
Chelsea, and
Mm.
that's nice to talk about and actually savour for a bit. Um, it's been an interesting start to the season. I mean, I was very much of the belief that the performances were better than the results were telling us. Like, I did think that if Chelsea kept playing the same way, the numbers would just, I think, they would change. Chelsea would start scoring. But I mean, just kind of your perspective on obviously watching the team close so far this season, of what Pochettino has been able to do already, and what hopefully will come in the upcoming weeks and months.
Yeah, so I was exactly the same as you, and I just couldn't really see why anyone else was thinking differently, because we were 6 or 7 games into a season, like before these wins, and I was exactly like you. Like, I was seeing so many positives. The only game I actually didn't watch this game because I was working, but the Forest game, I think, is the only game people actually looked at and thought, what? Like, they almost couldn't take any positives from that. But every other game I've looked at and I've gone, we genuinely should have won that. Like, we've actually played well. Like, we haven't actually played badly. We've had, I think all it was like moments in games that were going against us, like little moments, and just our luck was out. That's all I was thinking it was, and that's why I was like really positive. Like, I'm not just going to be like so positive for the sake of it if I know things are going badly. And also, like, my friends and people I talk to on WhatsApp and people I see and I go to Chelsea games with will know, like, in more detail how I'm feeling. But I was feeling positive, and I knew it was only a matter of time. But you can't be playing that well and that, like, carry on for the whole season not winning games. Like, it was never going to happen. And I looked at the the Brighton game that obviously came first. I thought that was a big win in terms of, because of Brighton and everything that's happened with us over the last couple of years, but also Nicholas Jackson scoring, which was a real positive. And they're a good side. Like, even though they had a couple of big, like, they still played a Stupinian, they still played Mitoma, like, they had a good side out, and players that are really difficult to play against. So I thought that win was really good, especially because cup competitions, I think, are the only real thing Chelsea have to play for this season. Following that up against Fulham, a good away performance, like, deserved to win, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and it just killed them off. But when I talk about moments, like the Burnley game when we go 1-0 down, and that goal that got us back in the game, which was obviously a Raheem Sterling cross that deflected over the Burnley keeper. Moments like that were going against us. Like, we needed that little bit of luck, and that just set us on our way. Do you know what I mean? It changed the game completely. And I'm hoping now that, like, we've got wins under our belt, we've got points as well, and we've got the points that our performances have deserved. I actually think when I look at this next run of games, I'm feeling way more positive about them. Like, now, obviously, coming off the back of 3 wins is really positive anyway. But in terms of the way Chelsea want to play football, we know Chelsea struggle against low blocks, like, we just do. And the teams we're playing are going to come at us. Like, I know we've got Brentford, they probably won't, but, like, when we've got Spurs, we've got Arsenal, we've got City, we've got Newcastle, we've got Brighton. These aren't teams that are going to sit back against us, and I feel like that would maybe allow us to try to play football a little bit more. And Chelsea work better with space, and we want space to be able to play football, and I think we're going to get that. That's why I'm not looking at this run of games thinking, oh, we're going to lose every one. I genuinely don't think we will. I think we'll get some big results in there. So I'm feeling positive. Obviously, I'm really happy with Poch. I believe he's the right man. I know Chelsea believe he's the right man. I know the players all love him as well. It feels different. It feels different. When we go 1-0 down, I have a belief that we'll get back into the game. I have a belief. I don't think the game's done. And I think that's a huge difference and a huge change in mentality in this group of players as well. So I'm feeling positive. That was always how I'm feeling. Everything I tweet and everything I say is genuinely what I feel. I'm not just going to tweet stuff for the sake of it like other people do for interactions and for likes. Like, I genuinely believe all the stuff I tweet, and I'm excited for this run of games. I'm excited to see where this Chelsea team are at, and I do believe we'll get more of a gauge at the end of this, maybe in like December, over the next couple of months, where Chelsea are at in terms of fighting for top four and stuff like that. But I'm feeling positive. I'm happy.
In terms of players, is there specific players in the current team that you're most excited about, or maybe feel could be seeing even more from in the upcoming weeks, because luckily, for especially in the attacking sense, it's wonderful to actually look at an attack and go, there's actually quite a few players here that you can actually praise and actually see end product from.
Yeah, like I Raheem Sterling has been one that I just wanted to see levels of Man City Sterling, and I think we have got that in glimpses, and I hope that carries on because he was very, very good against Burnley. Cole Palmer has come in and almost like transformed our attack, I think. I mean, that might be quite a big statement, but it's like he just, against Brighton, he was the best player on the pitch. Like he's just so brilliant on the ball, and everyone was questioning that signing, weren't they? But I think he's played 3 games and he's already looked like he's settled in so well, and he's linking up with his teammates really nicely. Mudryk has got a special place in my heart. I love Mykhailo Mudryk. I just like those players. He's again his player that it gets me excited. Like when he gets the ball, I'm like, what's he going to do? And I don't know if he'll start against Arsenal just because Raheem Sterling's been playing so well on the left, so he'll probably start unless, I think that'll probably be the case. But I want to see more of Mudryk because I think it's a confidence thing. We all knew that, but he's 100% better when he starts, and he's got time to grow into the game. I don't think he's as good when he comes off the bench and has only got 20 minutes to half an hour to make an impact. I really like the attack. I like Armando Broja and I like Nicholas Jackson, and I'm happy for them to again do half and half against Arsenal, because I don't think Broja can play a full game, and I think Nicholas Jackson's got his confidence back. It was a lovely finish, really composed in the box, good fee against Burnley as well. So I think our attack is really exciting. It's going to be even more exciting when Nkunku comes back, and he was a player I was so excited to see, and it's just so annoying. And I think Poch will probably have some selection headaches when he does come back, because he's 100% one of the first names on the team sheet when he comes back and he's fit, because of who he is and what he can offer Chelsea. It was like our star signing effectively in the summer. So yeah, I'm happy with that attack now. I like it. I think it's exciting. I think Enzo and Caicedo are the pivot everyone wants to see, and I think we will going forward to see that. And I think those were the 2 players, especially, that when we signed them for the amount of money we did, I was never worried, not once. I was never worried about the price tag. I think those 2 will live up to their price tag and more. We're starting to see it with Caicedo now. We've seen it with Enzo already, and it just makes a difference when you've got like a world-class defensive mid. And I think Caicedo he's just starting to show his class, and I think it's an exciting time. I don't think Chelsea fans should be too negative. I think we've seen positives. Everyone looks like they're starting to click. We know it's going to take time. All these players are new and have never played together before. So I'm excited by that attack. I'm probably most excited by Cole Palmer, I'd say, out of them all. And Mykhailo Mudryk's just, as I said, got a special place in my heart. I don't really know why, but I think I want him to succeed more than anyone else.
Obviously, there's a lot of an emotional background there because of what's been going on and how much that player and any player of from Ukraine has had to deal with over the past, God, what is it, 15, 18 months I think it is coming up to now. So, and he's a young guy as well. Like there's I think that there was always for me a case of, until we get to see him fully in the first team, as you say, you can never make a full judgment on a player until you actually get that run of games. I also want to ask you just quickly about Levi Colwill, because I know that was another player you've interviewed recently, and there was so much fear that Levi wasn't going to still be at the club, and just seeing how he's developed through the academy, and then went to Huddersfield, had an amazing season, went to Brighton after a slow start, quickly became a regular for them, and now is back in the Chelsea team, and is proving. I mean, he's turning himself into quite the left back, because he's sort of had to now with Chilwell injured as well. I mean, I guess just your experience with Levi, being able to speak to him, because he is a sensational talent given his age, and it feels like the sky's the limit for him at Chelsea.
Yeah, it is. He's got maturity like beyond his years. Like when you speak to him, it's like speaking to a 28-year-old. Like he's 20 years old, and he is like, honestly, the way he speaks, the way he just, everything about him is just, I think he'll be Chelsea captain one day. That's what I get from him. The maturity when he plays, the maturity off the pitch. It was lovely to speak to him as well. Like he's a really lovely guy. He was really easy to chat to, and it was obviously a really positive interview. We were talking about all of the biggest moments in his career and stuff, but I think he learned a lot on those loans. Some players don't want to go out on loan, and he learned a lot, especially at Brighton. I think I asked him if they were the perfect club for him, and he said yeah, and I believe they were the perfect club for him in that moment. And I think after that whole Euros, when they won the under-21 Euros, and Noni was like, "You're coming back," and he was a bit like, "Oh," and everyone obviously jumped to every single conclusion possible, because that's what Chelsea fans love to do. But he, in his mind, he was like, there was no doubt, like there was genuinely no doubt. I just needed to have a chat with the manager. I think he didn't even say I needed to have a chat with the manager. Like, he just wanted to know like what the plan was going forward. And he's a Chelsea boy. He's Chelsea through and through, and he wants to be at this club. He never wanted to leave. Like, that was never an option, I don't think. And we are very, very lucky to have him, obviously playing for England now. And I hope he's going to be England's starting centre back at the Euros if he carries on playing the way he does. But the way that Chelsea are playing, and obviously with the whole left back situation and the right back situation, I know obviously Gusto's back from his ban now, but yeah, he's turned into quite the left back. I still think the best Levi Colwill was at centre back. Like, he's just class in that position. And yeah, going forward, I can't lie, I do want to see him at centre back. But I understand why he's playing at left back, because Thiago Silva and Disasi have got a good thing going on, and it's working. And I don't really understand where this all Thiago Silva needs to be dropped malarkey comes from. He made, I think, one error leading to a goal, or not even an error leading to a goal, but like, he made a mistake, and Levi's made a mistake this season. Disasi's like, everyone's done it like this season, but Thiago Silva for some reason is a scapegoat and everyone thinks he needs to be dropped. I don't agree with that at all. So if it means that Colwill has to play on the left for the time being, then that's fine, because he's actually, like you say, turning into a bloody good left back as well. But yeah, I love everything about him. I think he's class. I think he's already a leader as well. I get that vibe from him. And I think that's one thing that Chelsea were perhaps missing. It is those leadership qualities in a player. And like he said, he learned so much playing next to Thiago Silva. And I think that is invaluable to him right now. And yeah, I think that back three, in terms of those three centre backs of Disasi, Silva and Colwill are working. And, we've got one of the best defensive records in the league. So hopefully it carries on. I'm just excited to see him grow, him learn. And yeah, I tweeted it yesterday. We are very, very, very lucky to have him. Very lucky.
I was maybe one of those people promoting that Silva dropping malarkey, because to be honest, it's not so much that I think he's like washed, he needs to be taken out of the team now. That's not really my point. I think my general concern with Silva is Poch's style of football, in my opinion, doesn't really suit his game, and especially in a back four compared to a back three. And I think us being hit on transition, I think I've seen it a few times so far this season where it concerns me. And it's not, I said this a few weeks ago, it's not the case that I'm going to sit here and say he can't ever have a good game for Chelsea again. He can't ever be useful for Chelsea again. Obviously, that's nonsense. That doesn't make sense. He had a good game against Burnley, obviously, and Fulham.
No one, coincidentally, no one talks about it. I always find that as soon as he makes a mistake, everyone's so quick to jump on it. But it's because we're so used to seeing these unbelievable performances from him now. It's just not normal. So when he has a game against Burnley, he was brilliant against Burnley, and he was bloody brilliant against Fulham as well. But no one talks about it. And as soon as he makes a mistake, everyone's like, oh my God, he needs to be dropped. He needs to be out of the team. But actually, we've got one of the best defences in the league for a reason. So I understand, as much as I want Colwill to play at centre-back, I understand why Poch isn't changing it, because why would you change it? And do you know what I mean? That Aston Villa goal, I think it was the Aston Villa goal where he stepped out and didn't make the tackle. That could have been avoided after that, by the way. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like Silva was the last man and that was the mistake, and it led, multiple things happened after that goal that could have been avoided, and that involved Levi Colwill, and it also involved Robert Sanchez. Yes, it was a mistake, but it could have been rectified after, and it wasn't. So again, I think if we're going to start criticising Silva for his one mistake in 8, 9, 10 games, or two mistakes in 8, 9, 10 games, then you've got to start being like, well, he actually played bloody well against Fulham and Burnley, and coincidentally, we won those games. So I think I understand why Poch isn't changing it, and I don't think he should change it, to be honest. I think it's for when they're playing well and we're not conceding goals. I think it was just, again, it was annoying because, the problem was the other end of the pitch. No one would be talking about that Silva mistake against Villa if we could finish our chances. Do you know what I mean?